And I wanted to close talking about the Uvalde shooting. Of course, we are all heartbroken this morning about yesterday's mass shooting at Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas. 19 children and 2 adults were killed. And again, let me underscore that, 19 children and 2 adults. So this happened 10 years after Sandy Hook and 4 years after the school shooting in Santa Fe, Texas, and a high school in Parkland, Florida. So in the last 2 weeks, if you count what happened in Buffalo, New York, and then what happened in Uvalde, Texas on yesterday, 19 and 10, 29 people just in those 2 mass shootings, 29 in the last 2 weeks. And that's just those 2 shootings. Look, we've offered our prayers and our condolences, but I'm going to agree with the coach from last night. You've got to do more than prayers and condolences, and enough is enough. I know there have been some, on social media and others calling about us canceling the convention at the NRA Convention that is scheduled in a few days. But let me say this. That convention has been on the books for more than 2 years. Okay, it is a contractual arrangement. And so, we simply cannot cancel a conference or a convention because we may not agree with the subject matter. We simply can't do that. And that would subject the city to a number of lawsuits on a convention that's been on the books for 2 years, and we seek to cancel it because we do not necessarily agree with the subject matter. So we can't do that. But I think the greater question is, why are elected officials coming to the NRA to speak? What message does that send? And I do not think that the governor or U.S. Senator Ted Cruz or any other congresspersons going and speaking sends the right message. So it's not about us canceling our convention. It's about elected officials at the highest level in our state going and speaking and endorsing those policies. And that's wrong. And you can't pray and send condolences on one day and then be going and championing guns on the next. That's wrong. So people should be asking the governor and U.S. Senator Ted Cruz, and others, why are you going there to speak? And I would tell you I was a little disappointed with Senator Ted Cruz because he said the answer to this gun violence is to put guns in the hands of our teachers. Are you serious? Are you serious? So it's the answer to what happened in Buffalo, for example, is to put guns in the hands of the store clerks. Is that how we deal with that? This what's happening? Until voters put this on the ballot, and what I mean by that, in the hands, looking at people who are espousing these power problems, it's not going to change. I encourage people to go and pull up House Bill 1927, permitless carry. Okay? No permit, no license, no training. And look at the people who voted for House Bill 1927. Pull up the list of those who voted for House Bill 1927. And I have not heard any of them who voted for House Bill 1927 talk glowingly about their vote on House Bill 1927. In fact, they don't talk about it at all. There's no conversation at all. Okay? So they won't talk about it, but we have to talk about it. Okay? But yesterday, 19 of our children. And they are our children. You may not have given biological birth to them, but they are our children. Okay? And they were like in the second and third and fourth grade. So let me just put it another way, Councilman Robinson. 19 of our babies. 19. If that doesn't force a change, and this is an American problem, okay? People talk about mental health. Mental health is not just in the United States, it's all over the globe. But what's happening in our schools is an American problem because we are more protective of our guns than we are of our babies. I want you to think about that now. We in our country, we are more protective of our guns than we are of our babies. So this morning, 19 families are mourning this morning. So I'm not just going to offer prayers and condolences to those families. I'm offering prayers and condolences for our country. We'll be praying for our country because we are clearly, our values are messed up when we are willing to sacrifice our children to protect guns.